who will pivot to now on Pool 4.
Pool 4 and Racing and Ulster are the two contenders in that one. On 19 points for Racing, which is the tournament high as it stands. They're currently sitting on top. And Ulster on 14, which is a very good return after back-to-back wins over
Stand up
Scarlet.
Yes, for the Ulster men.
Indeed.
They've done well.
They've done really well. Scarlets, conversely, have done abysmally again.
That's one of the things that I've sort of noticed is like they did get the job done impressively against Scarlets, and have entered a club that is just growing and growing of teams who get the job done against Scarlets. Whatever has gone on over there this year in West Wales, they're just losing all the games, and so it's hard. It's still hard to gauge where Ulster are at. We know they have quick tries in them. We know they have brilliant attacking players. Addison is a real find. McCluskey on his day is very good. Stockdale is a try scoring machine. This young fullback they have, who's Michael Lowry. He's very good and very quick. Billy Burns has grown into his own every game. He stuttered a little this year.
Ian Henderson steps up a lot in his Ulster jersey. This is why, like, conversely, compared to Glasgow's, like we were just talking about, they're not found wanting to the same extent in the physical exchanges, but sometimes they're found wanting in the physical
that's
exchanges.
What it's getting to. Like their try scoring ability is superb. But in other areas of the field, they really need massive performances. It's Rory Best, Ian Henderson and Marcel Coetzee, the three test players in there that you really would want to be leaning on. I mean, you're going to look to Best and Coetzee for big turnovers, look to Henderson for big momentum moments. What happened to them in the U Arena was they just got minced up front. Scrum time,
sometimes at line-out time,
in the contact. And the other thing is, like, for all of the brilliance of them going forward, I have suspicions about the defensive capabilities of Cooney, Burns, McCluskey, Addison, Stockdale, all of them. First up tackling. It's to win this, even though it's at home in the Kingspan, to win this game is going to require them to be like 100% on their game with ball in hand and fluster them like that, and then, like, you would say, a massive defensive shift, but I just don't think that's the way they want to play that game. They're going to need to turn over the ball, make it slow and horrible at breakdown, and then when they get the ball, if it's not on, we're going deep, we're pegging them back, we're making Racing exit, making them do silly Finn things. You'd like to see a nice juicy Finn floaty pass off the left get picked off by Stockdale.
Ideal world.
That would be a nice picture for Ulster. But like, in terms of individual,
just some proactive defending, because I feel
it's the only way to do it.
But a lot of times they're not. A lot of times they're soaked tackling, particularly Addison, like you're saying. Like, and he's
very drifty.
He's had a great season ball in hand, and he's impeccable ball in hand. I love watching him. He glides around, he plays well at 13, 14, 15, anywhere. Like, he can do that ball in hand, but particularly in the 13 channel, you want someone shooting up and hitting. And like, every tackle he seems to make is a soak tackle, so like, even if he pushes forward, he ends up retreating 2 or 3 yards in that contact, sometimes slipping off. Then McCluskey, for such a big guy, doesn't use his weight in defence at all, be it rucking, be it smashing.
He's upright, he's very upright, tries to hold people up and then eats yards. And again, against these Racing boys, you'd want
to see some Robbie Henshawing fucking closing down the distance immediately and wrapping around the ball, preventing the offload, and ragdolling them backwards is kind of what you need to be seeing.
Absolutely. And it's going to be it's going to be like, matchup wise, looking at them, the players that Racing have, they have a very good scrum.
In terms of that,
you got guys like Lammer. What's your man's name in the back row?
Lamera.
No, Lammer's the centre. I can't.
No. If their centres are Chavancy and Van Mahina.
Yeah, but Remy Lammer is a Clermont. I can't.
Oh, sorry, Lamera is. Yes.
It's begins with an L.
Lapondry.
No. Laurent or something. Excuse me. He's a very good player.
I can picture him now.
What a great fan. You know what? I'll look it up.
Yeah.
He's one of the classy back rowers from France. Who's a brilliant player. You got Donica Ryan, Leonie Nakarawa in the second. Laurie.
It is Laurie. Yeah.
They're like proper brilliant test level players all dotted through that pack, and then a back line that when it heats up gets really hot. Finn Russell gets a lot of stick for being flary, and he does throw some loose passes, personally, I think he's a brilliant 10.
Yeah.
Like old school class. He makes backlines purr. He
I'm
makes
loving
turns
the,
defense
they
into
look
much.
they look great off line out and scrum strike plays.
Yeah.
They're great with their wingers are hugging the touchline. They've won him off, who's just looks dangerous. He's bagging tries left, right and centre. Zebo looking like he's enjoying his time with those potent weapons outside him, and
running good tracking runs, bagging some good tries. You know,
and I think the link man who gets underappreciated the whole time, he actually did for us in terms of our go forward without ball in hand is Chavonsi at 12, and he's like a classier operator than either of those two Ulster centres. He's really, really good. And so like he'll be the danger as far as that, like being he as a link man or as a smashing player off the ball. Like
there's all kinds of racing weapons. Ulster, like you got to be hoping for some smart play from Cooney and Billy Burns. It's not really Stockdale's. The up and under isn't really Stockdale's game.
No, he's not.
I would like to see, because you got Zebo potentially at fullback in the backfield doing silly Zebo things, getting, like, as much as we love Zebo, getting things wrong sometimes defensively. Like kick, like when you resolve to kick, it shouldn't just automatically be right, we'll exit with box kicks, we'll throw some bombs up. It needs to be smarter than that. And Ulster, for me, they are a team that are very good with ball in hand, should be looking to exit with ball in hand a little bit, going from side of the pitch to side of the pitch to probe, and then isolate the space.
If they have confidence about winning collisions, they can do that. But like,
the space, man. Go whip it to the left hand side. Get Stockdale's hands on the ball early. If you catch it on your right hand side, whip it across the pitch. Go back to the pitch. Against most defenses, that's going to give you yards when you're in your own half anyway. And then thereafter, you got to lean on the vision of Billy Burns at 10, who is growing into his role. It's going to be a big day for him to actually pick out where they're weak in the backfield and find grass and go deep with the boot and find touch preferably, and then attack them from there.
Little message,
phone notification. Go back into the corner, try and get line outs and set plays and force Racing to exit. That's the kind of thing you want to be looking from Ulster. And then when there is space to attack in the opposition half, to do so ruthlessly, to get tries on the board before Racing do, to avoid at all costs knock-ons and scrums,
which points will come from
points
that
will
for
come.
Racing.
Yes,
as we saw in the U Arena.
Keep not quite in a Toulouse way, because Toulouse obviously have more methods of winning against Leinster. It's more of a balanced game, but just keep that ball alive. Back yourself to score tries, because Racing do leak tries. They aren't defensively the best team in Europe. They, like, as good as Chavonsi is, they can be got outside. And Messers, like, as much as we derided Stockdale and Addison and McCluskey, they can be bloody brilliant with ball in hand, and that's what you need. That's what you want to see. You want to see offloads, you want to see tracking runs, you want to see sharpness, some good set plays, and always in the wide channels. Get outside Racing, move them around, because they are big boys, and you need to tire them out. So I want to see Ulster going from left side of the pitch to the right side of the pitch to the left side of the pitch, and
avoiding those close collision contacts where they just won't win them.
Only Ian Anderson is allowed to do that.
Well, yes,
that's
the one out runners, which is a prevailing force in most Irish teams, and it just.
To be fair to Ulster, they can actually be quite lateral sometimes, but I would almost be okay with seeing them do that. And then obviously back in your three big players, your test players in your pack, to primarily make steals, but also front up in those contacts.
Big day for Rory West. The darts need to be accurate. Physicality needs to be there. He's had a few.
I'd like to see a few poaches as well.
I really want that back in his game. He's shown signs of it in the last few weeks. He's provided one or two more, but it used to be like a very potent thing. He used to do one or two. Like, he'd be in slowing up ball, if not winning ball, in most breakdowns.
It's gonna be it's a massive task. It is at home in the Kingspan Stadium. They're gonna have a big crowd wanting them to win. Certainly
they should wear their red top.
They will wear their red top, because Racing will wear their blue and white thingy, so they will be wearing their red top. And Ulster do much better when they play
much better in the red top.
They look more. They look like they have a bit more balls about them in the red top. And so absolutely they should be out in the red top and given it absolute socks. They're going to have the crowd with them. They're actually, for once, riding a momentum wave.
Well, they're also it's post Christmas, and this is a consequential game that they could do with winning, which is like rare enough. Most of the time,
especially
it's just in Europe. So most of the time, it's just, well, we'd like to win it though, because we're at home and it's good for our fans. And like Irish teams do tend to put it, because there's obviously no relegation in the Pro 14, so it's like it's easier for a Pro 14 team to, even if they're out of it and it's a dead rubber, to still chuck everything at it and make a result. They tend to actually be worse fixtures if you're in contention but not quite there, and you have to face a Pro 14 team. That's worse than having to face a Premiership or a Top Couture's team at this point, because usually they'll just throw the seconds or reserves out at you and not really bother. But this is an unusual place for Ulster to be after earning it with great performances back to back against Scarlets, which was like just brilliant for them, because like the last few seasons it's been a matter of like, if not mathematically out, but everyone has a sense of being
and listen,
out at Christmas.
I think they're a team that is good enough. Like they're for the record, I'm not sure if we read out the pool points, they're on 14 points. So even if they don't win this weekend, they're probably going to have a chance to go and qualify. I think they're a team that truly is good enough to go to a quarterfinal. They probably do belong in the top 8 in Europe this year. They are riding a bit of a momentum wave. I know they stuttered a bit in the derbies, as they often do, but they rotated their squad, which was refreshing to see as well. And their A team is in it. Their fans are going to be geared up. They're actually happy. There seems to be a positive atmosphere about them this year. They can deliver, and they belong probably in the top 8, be they doing it this week or next. There's the problem this week is that the pieces of Racing's team coming together are so good now, especially in Europe. I mean, they have stuttered a bit in domestically, so there are chances to score tries, but just the way the two teams match up, Ulster are probably just too weak in certain areas, primarily the scrum. They're just it's just that's been there for so long, and they just haven't solved that problem. And like, to be fair, it's Marty Moore in there now this year, and it's still the same issue, and it's like, I just don't know what to do to remedy that. Like, Ian Henderson's a fine scrummager. You see that in an Ireland jersey. He's a powerful man. There's
the engine
no
room.
issue with the engine room. I don't
the
think
technicalities in the front row
That's
have always
like,
been bad in terms of just the bind.
You never actually see a solid Ulster scrum, perhaps full stop there, but you never see an Ulster scrum where it's like all props are perfectly engaged together, and then just the power comes in from behind, which is actually how Racing dominate a lot of their scrums. Very often when Ulster scrum is going backwards, there's some kind of mad shit going on.
One person's arm is up or head is up or down, and it's like someone's getting something wrong. If not multiple people,
often multiple people, and so it's that's the big task for them. But they're in it. They're going to go for it. I wish them all the best luck. To my,
I'm not hugely confident of them getting.
No, if I was to tip a side, I would tip Racing to win it.
But I hope it'll be a hell of a game. I actually think it will be a hell of a game, because I think they will show something in the King's Cross
and I also think that
ask some questions of Racing, which they've yet to really be asked in this tournament.
And yet, the Racing aren't top of the top couture. They're about 6th or something. They're like, they're not all that. They take off days. As good as Finn Russell is and Zebo is, they have
mistakes. Bad as well. There's good bad
they make
in that
mistakes.
back line.
They're not defensively as good as Chavonsi is. They're not defensively a rock at all. So there are tries to be got. So attack them, and it's a good early test for them if they really are. In it to win it. In it to win it is the way to put it.